Animations of missing Doctor Who episodes are back, but why did they choose the one they did, and who's funding them? Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Phil, welcome to my channel where I like to talk about all the geeky pop culture that I like to consume, including things like Star Trek and Red Dwarf and, of course, Doctor Who. A lot of Doctor Who on the channel, so hit subscribe if you like Doctor Who and want to, hear me talk about it some more. News just in today is that the animations of missing Doctor Who episodes from the classic series from the 1960s, where lots of episodes no longer exist in their original form because they were junked by the BBC, are returning. Those who have followed the animations will know that back, was it last year, I think, they announced that they were ending the current production of missing episode animations because of lack of funding. BBC America had been a funding partner of them up until that point, but they were pulling out of their funding. At the time, there was a bit of speculation. Why were they doing that? Why were BBC America not willing to fund it anymore? Possibly it was because they weren't doing enough for them on their channel. Possibly they weren't getting enough ratings when they aired them. But since that initial announcement was made, of course, the licensing deal with Disney and Disney Plus, where Disney Plus would be the home of Doctor Who, for the modern series at least, across the world, everywhere outside the UK, came about. So there was a bit of speculation, and it still is speculation, that it's related to that BBC America would no longer be allowed to show classic Doctor Who, and therefore they were not interested, obviously, in funding any animations of it. But now, we've just had a new announcement of a new missing episode animation. That animation is the Underwater Menace. Now, this is a second Doctor story where a couple of the episodes do already exist. The filmed versions exist of, I think, 2 episodes, and they have been released on DVD before, but never animations of the missing episodes. In the style that we've had over the last, decade of missing animations being animated, missing episodes being animated, these are going to be full animations. So even the episodes where the episode exists, they're still going to animate those episodes. And they're doing it again in black and white and colour, so there'll be 2 versions on the disc. Now, I'm not familiar massively with the Underwater Menace, other than knowing that it involves Atlantis. I've never seen the existing episodes. I've never read a Target novelisation. I've seen a few pictures here and there, so I don't know massive amounts about it. What I do know, though, is that I have heard it's not a particularly well-regarded story. So why did they choose this one first? And also, maybe let's speculate also about where the money's coming from, given that BBC America is no longer partially funding it. So they've chosen this one, and it is another one from Season 4. Now that's particularly relevant because most of the missing episode animations we've had have come from this season. This is a season that is mostly missing, frankly. There is almost no episodes comparatively to how many episodes should exist from Season 2. So they've been gradually filling in those gaps, and they're quite close to finishing it. After this, they will have only the Smugglers and the Highlanders, I believe, to go before they have a complete season. So that may be one of the main driving forces of choosing this one, to round off that season. Now, personally, given that it's the 60th anniversary, I would have preferred that, given that Season 1 only needs 1 story animated, although admittedly a lot of episodes, I'd have preferred them to animate the Crusade. Yes, I meant Marco Polo here. I'm getting my pure historicals in a muddle. You know what I mean. And get a Season 1 box set out for the 60th anniversary. But they haven't done that. Well, it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that anyway. But at least we are getting an animation for the 60th, so that's exciting. So I'm sure that plays into it, the fact that it's Season 4. Like I say, I'm not familiar with the story, but if this is predominantly set in Atlantis, they're reusing assets is another big thing that they can do. If they've got lots of scenes set in one setting, that is going to be cheaper for them to animate than one where they get moved around a lot, like they do in the Crusades. Also, the villainous characters in this are a race that, pretty much can fill in copy and paste wise. They all look the same, the Atlantean creature things. I'm not sure what they're called, but they all pretty much look the same. So again, that saves on animation costs. So I think they're probably the two main factors that have gone into this. The fact that they are trying to fill out season 4 and the fact that it's probably one of the cheaper ones to animate. With the rest of season 4, why they didn't go for one of those. The Smugglers probably has a lot of locations. That might be difficult to animate, a bit more costly to animate. And you've got the Highlanders, which I've heard lots of people speculate that the kilts are the problem there, and they would be difficult to animate. I don't know how true that is. This DVD and Blu-ray will be coming out in November, so around about the 60th anniversary. And here's a few screenshots from it. It looks very vibrant. The Atlanteans, is that what they're called? I'm not sure. Looking very bright and colourful. Love it. And you know what? Despite the fact that this is a generally more maligned episode, I believe, from what I've heard people say, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, and I'm looking forward to seeing Atlantis for the first time. I've never seen Atlantis in the Doctor Who universe, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like in animation. As usual with these things, there is a host of special features that have been specially commissioned for the disc as well. We've got, as well as having the colour and the black and white versions, the original episodes that exist are still on there. There's an episode 1 reconstruction on there, a making of documentary called A Fishy Tale, Australian censor clips, something called The Man from Midst, some BBC News reports, photo gallery, animation gallery, and the usual PDF stuff you usually get on these things. So lots of special features as well, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah, the other thing to talk about really is where the funding has come from. So we've had, obviously, the fact that BBC America are no longer funding this, and the general consensus was they would need to find another source of funding because BBC, the BBC studios that put out the discs, I don't know, didn't feel that they were commercially successful enough to fund by themselves. They needed an extra revenue source. Now, it's possible that Disney has stepped in here and they will be putting it on Disney Plus along with the rest of the new stuff. That's a possibility. The other possibility is that they do believe that these will sell enough to just fund it themselves, to self-fund it and not get a funding partner in as well. That's obviously, I think those are the two main options. I don't know if you can think of any others, but I don't think they would be looking at another broadcaster due to the Disney in another country, because due to the Disney Plus deal, and I'm not sure where else would think it would be worthwhile to invest in it. Where would they be getting their money from if they're not going to air, if it's not somebody that's going to air it? So I think possibly Disney Plus is a potential source, or they've decided to go it alone. It'll be interesting to see. Possibly there's some lap over with maybe the budget for the collections has gone into it slightly. These internal budget things are always, departments doing deals to, it's all with the BBC, but at different departments within the BBC, funding different bits of it. So that's also a possibility as well. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm glad they're bringing back the animations. I'm hoping we get loads more. I really want that Crusade one, though. That's what I want. I want a Season 1 collection box set out this year. I think it's probably too late for that, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed anyway. Keeping my fingers crossed. Thanks for watching. Do hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And I'll be back for more Doctor Who videos soon because I've started making them again. I had a really long time where I was making like one every 2 months, but last month or so, I've been starting to ramp up production again. So I'm hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it, but fingers crossed, might be making more videos again soon. So subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.